If you're going to stop drinking alcohol, there is something that you absolutely need to avoid. It doesn't matter what method you're using. It doesn't matter if you've gone to a rehab. It doesn't matter if you've gone to AA. It doesn't matter if you're doing this with a coach. It doesn't matter if you're doing it on your own. It doesn't matter if you're doing it just by watching my YouTube videos. Every single person needs to avoid this without failure. And whilst I'm not necessarily saying that you're going to relapse if you don't avoid what I'm going to tell you in this video, one thing for sure is the journey will be so much harder. And the goal of my channel and the goal of my business, Sober Clear, where I work with business owners and professionals and I help them to stop drinking, is to make the process simple. Stopping drinking is the simplest thing that you can ever do. All you need to do is not put a drink to your mouth. It's not exactly hard, right? If I told you you have to stop eating croissants, you're going to have no problem with that. You just don't eat the croissant. The problem is that we make it hard because of the way we've been conditioned to see alcohol.
And very quickly, if you want instant access to a brand new video training that I've just finished showing you how to control alcohol in as little as 48 hours, then click the link in the description. This new method is not about using willpower therapy or AA meetings, it's totally different. I do not publish this video anywhere else online and it's already changing thousands of lives, so click the link below for instant access. Once you're on the next page, enter your name and email address and your free training will begin. It takes just 7 minutes to watch, but it'll feel like somebody flicks a switch in your brain. And honestly, I'm not sure when I'll start charging for this 7-minute video training. That's how good it is. But whilst it's still available, click the link below, enter your name and email address, and watch that video now.
So what is it that you need to avoid? People are going to disagree with me on this, but I don't care. You know, you're going to have some professionals out there that are going to think that this guy's lost his mind. Who is he to say this? Well, I'm just sharing what worked for me in my experience and what's worked for the hundreds of clients who I've helped. What you want to avoid doing is making not drinking alcohol the focus of your life. And what I mean by this is you don't want to make the past and the pain of not drinking alcohol the thing that keeps you sober. Neither do you want to identify as this person whose biggest achievement is to not drink alcohol. Now that might sound as so contradictory for somebody who's got their YouTube channel called Sober Leon, but when I meet people, I don't tell them I'm some non-drinker that's stopped drinking alcohol for 7 years, look how great I am. The only reason why I tell you this is so you know that I know what I'm talking about on this topic to help you solve the same problem. When I go and meet people in the street, they don't see me as this sober person. I don't make it a big deal in any way, because the problem with doing this is that if you make that your biggest life achievement, what are you telling yourself? Let's just break it down. If I go around saying I've not drank, it's been so hard, it's been so challenging, and I'm so proud that I'm 7 years without a drink. And again, some people are going to disagree with me on this, but there's this weird subcommunication that's happening, saying that alcohol was actually something that you enjoyed, something that you missed dearly. So of course, it feels like an achievement. Can you stay sober feeling this way? Of course. In fact, this is kind of the foundation of Alcoholics Anonymous. We admit that we're powerless over alcohol and there's no known cure for this disease, and we sit around in meetings and we talk about the pain that alcohol causes in our life. I don't go to AA, I'm saying us. Hopefully you get the idea. But I did try it. I went for about 90 days. Not for me. My mum's been for 20 years. No thanks. I'm not labeling myself an alcoholic because I truly believe the words that we give ourselves have so much power. And if I call myself powerless, I'm going to believe I'm powerless. But I'm not powerless, and I don't think you are either. Can you get sober, making stopping drinking and the pain of alcohol the focus of your life? Yes, but here's the big problem. When I did this in the past, it would keep me sober for a few months, maybe a few weeks. In fact, there was a period where I went 6, 7, 8 months by doing this. I threw up blood on a computer and the pain got me sober. I stopped drinking, but eventually the pain went away. And I had this great idea that this time, of all the other times that I tried to add alcohol back into my life as a normal drinker, this time was going to be different. And guess what happened? You already know. I fell flat on my face for the 100th time. I had to rebuild my life from zero, all because I had this big idea of having just one drink. But the problem is the only thing that got me sober was pain. And every time I thought about alcohol I just resist it. I'd just be like, nah, I don't drink. I'm just gonna fight the urge. And I'm not saying you should forget the pain. I'm not saying that you should disregard it and just completely ignore it. But there has to be another step. It doesn't matter what approach you're taking. I'm not trying to judge people that are doing it this way and that way. I don't care. It makes no difference to me. I just want you to fix the problem. But instead of making the pain the focus, instead of making stopping drinking alcohol your biggest achievement, you need to focus on what's next. The big thing that made a difference in my life, the big thing that makes a difference in the lives of the people who I help, is having a vision. It's having a vision of the version of you that's killing it, that has the financial life they want, that has the health that they want, that has the family that they want. And what we want to do is, instead of just making not drinking alcohol this massive achievement, and the longer that we go without alcohol, the more of a non-drinker that we are, this is all communicating the totally wrong thing. And when I say communicating, I mean self-communicating. It's the way that you're viewing the whole situation and the way that you're talking to yourself. Once you stop drinking, you want to measure your life by how successful you become. And the way that you become successful is you have wins. We can't control how good our life gets. We can't control exactly how much money we'll make, how successful our marriage will be, how successful our health will be. But what we can control are the daily inputs. So instead of making not drinking alcohol the big win, if you can make a vision for your life of where you want it to go, and you can have daily wins where you're moving towards that vision, where you're waking up at the right time, you're putting in the work, you're eating the right foods, you're showing up in your family life the way that you want to show up. When you make that the win, and just almost not necessarily ignore the past, but just kind of put it aside and move on. The same way that a celiac moves on, the same way that a lactose intolerant person moves on. If we can just move past alcohol and then start these daily wins, guess what starts happening? These wins start stacking. And like I said, whilst we can't control exactly how good we're going to look in the mirror, or exactly how big our business is going to become, whatever it is that you're working on, what you can control are the daily wins. So instead of measuring not drinking alcohol is the ultimate success, just get past it. And we want to measure success by how much action we are taking in the direction of the life that we actually want. Like I said, it doesn't matter what approach you're doing here. If you want to use first principles thinking, if you want to watch my YouTube videos, if you want to work with me directly, if you want to go to AA, that's up to you. I'm not here to dictate and say you should do it this way. No, different things are going to work for different people. So regardless of what approach that you choose, just make sure to know what direction you want your life to go in. And instead of measuring how long you've not drank for, measure the wins that you have. Because that is when, in 6 months from now, you almost don't recognize yourself. That's what I want for you. I don't want you just to be some sober person. I want you to reach the next level in your life. And I know you can do it. If you want help doing it, just go to soberclear.com. You can learn about the work that we do. And if you click the video on the screen now, I'm going to give you some of the best stop drinking motivation you've probably ever seen in your life. Have a great day.